Hello and welcome back to the Wandering Wind Church. I am your digital video missionary, Gregory, and today we are reading day 25 of the Step 1 devotionals in the Life Recovery Devotional. Today's title is Magical Thinking, and our Bible reading for today is Ecclesiastes 5:10 through 12. Step 1. We admitted that we were powerless over our dependencies and that our lives had become unmanageable. This is one of the rules that governs a dysfunctional family. Always blame someone or something whenever things get out of control. We might say, if only I weren't poor, then I could handle life. We might dream of how all our problems would be resolved if only we were rich. Guilty, guilty. Guilty. We might dream, but by blaming our lack of wealth, we fail to take responsibility for coping with life. Solomon was one of the richest men who ever lived. He had this to say on the subject: those who love money will never have enough. How meaningless to think that wealth brings true happiness. The more you have, the more people come to help you spend it. So what good is wealth, except perhaps to watch it slip through your fingers? People who work hard sleep well, whether they eat little or much, but the rich seldom get a good night's sleep. Ecclesiastes 5:10 through 12. Solomon, along with many affluent people of our day, is living proof that riches don't solve our problems or guarantee happiness. Wealthy people are just as powerless over their lives and addictions as poor people. Accepting this reality can help us to face the fact that it is not anything external that keeps us from recovery. We don't need to wait until we have more money to begin coping with our lives and our compulsive behaviors. The sooner we stop all the blaming and begin to acknowledge the true powerlessness of the human condition, the sooner we'll recover. No matter how much or how little we have, it will never be enough. And, on that subject, years ago, I was in a treatment group for people who were having psychological issues. And during our therapy groups, we would actually go through, this was when I was in my teenage years, so it was during the time when I ended up going into rehab for my issues. But we went through a list of what they called thinking errors, which is common ways that people use their thinking in the wrong way to blame the wrong thing. And one of those thinking errors was magical thinking. Now, the definition of that is the belief that unrelated events are casually connected despite the absence of any plausible causal link between them, particularly as a result of supernatural effects. So, the belief that unrelated events are casually or causally connected. So, if I had more money, I'd be happier. Well, if that person hadn't cut me off in traffic, I wouldn't be in court for a traffic violation. If this hadn't happened, I wouldn't be doing this. It's those kinds of thinking where you end up, the belief that one thing could cause the rest of these things to change. When in reality, all that one thing changes is that one thing, Oh, if I just had more money, I wouldn't be worried so much. So then because I didn't worry so much, I wouldn't drink. And because I didn't drink, I wouldn't be a drunk. And because I wouldn't be a drunk, I wouldn't be an addict. And because I wouldn't be an addict, I wouldn't have my health being so poor. Blah 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 blah. I mean, you start steamrolling and start snowballing one thought about, if you had a little bit more money, you'd have a little bit easier life, into a spiraling snowball of just, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this one thing would fix all of that. It's like, no, it wouldn't. It'd just give you one more thing to worry about. I'll tell you what, I've read more stories of people that have won the lottery and a few years later are back to being destitute than I have of people that have won the lottery and have succeeded in life. Because number one, like Solomon said, the more money you have, the more people are going to help you spend it. I mean, really, I mean, you come into a lot of money, everybody's your friend. It's the truth of life. But in reality, no amount of stuff will help us here or here if we're not willing to change first. You might have all the money in the world, but if you're depressed and hopeless, you'll still be depressed and hopeless. Look at Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is actually quoted as saying the secret to life that he believes is don't be rich, don't be famous. Because if you do those two things, you're going to end up miserable. And he said, I'm glad that I can be the example that people can learn from not to want these things, or something along those lines. I'm not sure exactly, but I know he's talked about not being happy and how fame and fortune didn't make him happier, but made him more miserable. Because once you're in the focus of people's lives, they make all of your issues magnified because you're in public opinion's eye, and that makes it worse. I mean, me myself, even though I'm only a small YouTuber, I still get focused on, and I will still get pushback sometimes that does make me feel bad. But the difference between me and someone like Jim Carrey is I have hope in the fact that, you know what, I might not be famous, but my God knows my name. So I think, today's message, today's takeaway is don't be worried about having enough, but rather focus on where that enough comes from. Does that enough come from your relationship with God? Does that enough come from things that you possess? If we focus on our relationship with the Father, all these other things will be added to us. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. Focus on our recovery and our relationship with our Father. That's first and foremost. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, sharing, subscribing, supporting, and just loving on this channel in the way that you do. I will see you guys again soon. Take care of yourselves. Remember, we do not recover by leaps and bounds, but by steps and inches and moments, because we are not meant to go through this and steamroll it. We are meant to learn it and to apply it and to become the picture that Christ has for us. The image of God, the image of Christ, and his work in us. So thank you for being here on this journey of recovery with me. And I will see you guys again next time here on the Wandering Wind Church. Thank you guys. Have a lovely day.